Okay, here we are, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. This is our first kind of high-tech Google Hangout YouTube tonight for Movo Monday. And I just want to say that we have a full house here. I am going to turn the computer around, and I want everybody to just do a really quick cheer. Really, we did it. We did it. I'm actually speechless right now. Hey, come on in and find a seat if you want. I know that there's not many seats, but all right, let's see if I can do this without losing our connection. All right, here we go. Awesome, and people keep coming. Woo! All right, so those of you who are watching at home, thank you so much for tuning in, either live or recorded. We are going to be having a couple times where we're going to the computer. I'm going to be sharing online resources as well as trying to share some things that I'm chatting about here on the chart. So hopefully we don't get disconnected, and if we do, I apologize. But if you're in the room, you won't be disconnected. I won't kick you out, so. All right, everybody, so thanks so much for coming tonight. And this is a really exciting time in Isogenics. I just really know that some of you have been following some of the messages and the videos that I've been sharing on our Facebook group, and I could not help but share that stuff. I mean, I was sworn to some secrecy, and I still am. There's certain things I can't share tonight, but what I really want to really get the word out is about how amazing this company really is. Because some of you are just getting started. Some of you might have been here a while, and you're thinking, okay, you know, what's new, what's happening? And you know, what I realized this weekend of being at Top Achievers is not only do our products continue to get better, our management team, our corporate team continues to get better. They continue to just pour incredible things into us to make it possible for every single person here to succeed. And that gets me excited because that's what we're here for. We're here to help everybody, no matter what, our background, our education, our professions, our gender, it doesn't matter. Our preference, nothing matters. What matters is that you're here and you're actually open to learning how to create success in this company. Now, for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. This is our home. My husband Cam is taking care of putting the kids to bed, and I'm here. And you know, it's amazing to have you guys here. I said to Cam, you know, I think we've got to speed up that basement reno because we need more room, which is great. And outdoors, I'd love to have events outside too, which will be fun for the summer. So with that, what I do want to start with, and I've tried to make myself a few notes just to try to keep on pace because I could be here honestly for 5 hours tonight. That's how excited I am, but I don't want to bore you guys. You know, the whole idea of the experience first, I want to start with that. The experience of Isogenics going to an event like Top Achievers is absolutely out of this world. I know that we qualified 2 years in a row and we said no both times to going. And part of that had to do with our family commitments. Thinking about, oh, do we really need to be there? Like there were a lot of reasons why we didn't go to the 2 previous ones. The first one yeah, Cam says, I think you had a little hand in that one, honey, but anyway. Oh, yeah, now I'm seeing myself. The first year we qualified was Atlantis in the Bahamas.
Oh, wow.
And we turned that one down. And then last year was Laguna Beach, California. Turned it down. Kept getting to events like New Year's kickoff and celebration and feeling the amazing culture and hearing from stage the speakers that would get up there and say that the event that changed their life and their business was Top Achievers. And every time I heard that come from mouths of amazing leaders, I continued to feel like I was this big, going, why did I say no 2 years in a row? So all I can say now is Cam and I will never say no again if we qualify. And I say if we qualify because they're changing qualifications. But we are totally determined to take as many people with us next year to Maui because that's where it's going to be. And just amazing. So some of the things, we're going to actually share a link for you guys to understand how you can qualify to get there. Everybody here, no matter how long you've been in Isogenics, can qualify, which is awesome. It is absolutely possible for everyone. So if you feel like, oh, I just started, there's no way I could do it, that's just your mindset telling you. So let's get that out of your head right now because every single person here can get there. you know, some of the qualifications I know that Cam and I are going for are certain, you know, ways to get there. You would, well, technically everybody would need to get to executive. So if executive is not on your radar right now, that's something you'll want to shift and change, because to get to executive, and for those of you who are brand new and you don't understand what executive means yet, just know that we will help you get there if that's your desire. All right, so we will definitely do that. I'm not training on that tonight, but that is your goal, because you cannot qualify to go to Top Achievers unless you are paid as executive. So that's one thing. But just to give you an idea of the experience, some of you might have seen this video today, but I just want to share it really quickly so that you get a feeling. And this is where I'm hoping we don't lose the at-home watchers. Oh, and yeah, it's not working. So that is just a little glimpse of what the events team put together for us. It is absolutely amazing. The events team is unlike any other. I mean, every single day we had a gift brought to our room. You know, if I was in the room, we'd get a little knock on the door and it would be just hand delivered. Other times we'd come into the room and there was something brand new on our bed or on the table. The room itself was like a suite. We could have fit almost all of you in there. Just absolutely amazing what they do for us. Let me see if I can get back here so we can share the regular screen with everyone. So, you know, clearly you can see some of the things, and I don't even have all of it out. We got duplicates because of Cam and I both being there, but I mean, just this bag itself was packed full of things. And, you know, for the Canadian anniversary, these beautiful towels. I mean, every day, yeah. And this was one of my favorite little pieces. It was just put in our room one morning, and it's just a little message in a bottle with isogenics on it, you know? It's all the extras that they go to for you. And, you know, clearly they respect and love the fact that we are sharing the message of isogenics and helping so many people. So at first I was uncomfortable getting so many things, and I know Teeny and I have talked about this before. When you're a giver, it's sometimes hard to receive, but they actually made it really easy to receive because we also understand the reason behind it. So it was just amazing. Anyway, so who are we? One of the things I do want to share are some of the notes that I took, because clearly some of these things we already know, but I want to ask you guys who you think that we are in isogenics, because you know, I have some stats to share, but I also have some predictions and some other things that we really talked about in isogenics at the, I keep saying celebration, at Top Achievers. One of the really cool things about Top Achievers is, how many of you here, first of all, have been to either a New Year's kickoff or a celebration? Put your hand up. All right. So tell me something that you feel, anybody that wants to share, how do you feel when you're at those events? And it can be positive, negative, anything. How do you feel when you're there?
Like we're part of their family.
Awesome. Excellent. Like we're part of the family. Anyone else?
Appreciated.
Appreciated. Wonderful. No matter what level. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. It's good. It's good feedback. Anyone else?
There's like a crazy amount of energy that just lasts for days and days and weeks and months after.
Absolutely. A lot of energy. I'm hoping that people on the computer can hear it as well. Anything else? One more, two more shares?
It builds belief.
Builds belief. Great. It absolutely does.
Inspiring and empowering.
Excellent. Now, the last celebration event was massive in San Diego. We had probably 10,000 people there. This year, they've sold 13,000 tickets. So for you guys to feel that way at a big event is awesome. That's like such an amazing opportunity to get there and feel that way, because that's a big event. How can you feel like you're someone when there's so many people, right? That's the one thing. And at something like this, to be one of 175 people, small, intimate, really small group. So they're talking to us very differently at this event than they do to all the bigger events. I had no idea how that looked until we got there. And really what it was every single person in that room and every single person here is a leader. But they talk to that level of leadership completely differently. They share things that are making them very vulnerable. They're very honest. They're very transparent. They're very open. You actually feel right to the heart, and I already felt that way anyway, but to the depths of they want to know the positive and the negative. They want to keep improving this company so that it becomes the legacy that it still will be years, decades, generations later. They want it to be around for long, obviously forever. So they wanted to know our feedback. And that was actually an uncomfortable moment for me at the time, because they were asking really serious things. How we view them, how we could improve the communication, how we could improve the corporate team. I actually felt like there was nothing they could do, but someone said there's always room for improvement for everything, right? Even for us, there's always room for improvement to grow. So those were some hardcore things, and I still remember thinking, oh my gosh, I hope they're not crying, you know, because some of the leaders were harsh. And it wasn't harsh in a way that was negative by any means. It was actually really positive, constructive, you know, feedback, which I think all of us can learn to take sometimes to grow into the person we deserve to be. So they're just trying to do the same with the company, which is awesome. They care so much about every single one of you, right down to every single child that's being involved and the children that aren't part of this yet. It really goes to, you know, everyone. So it's really amazing. Anyway, some stats, just to keep you guys up to date with all the stats. There's currently 500,000 active members worldwide. They just hit that mark. So 500,000 members worldwide. We're 13 years old. We're going to have our first $1 billion year this year. That's massive. We are not even touching the surface. So if you've heard people say, oh, we're saturated, there's too many people that know about isogenics, this is proof positive that we are just a baby in this industry right now. But we're growing. We're actually an emerging giant. So that's exciting. You know, we've got a lot of investments going on within the company. They're investing in all of you. So not only are they investing in third-party validation and studies, Not only are they investing in constantly improving the products and bringing out new ones, they are actually now really investing even more in us. And we know there's the core 4 events. Does anyone know what the core 4 are right now, Katie?
MYKO, Celebration, University in Action, and IC.
Yes. So those are the 4 core events, and they happen quite often. You know, I think they said that there's 13 events this year in total, corporate level. That's one area they're talking about improving, to offer more events to make it easier, because we're selling out of every event, right? We're growing at a pace now that people are either needing to get the tickets right away, or they miss out, or they have to try and find them somewhere. So that's something they're working on. There are certain things, obviously, like I said, that are sensitive information right now because they're still in preliminary areas. But all I can say to you right now is I promise you, it's crazy. I can't, like, it's hard for me not to say it, but we all know that personal development, yeah, I mean, I'm being recorded here. Yeah. Personal development, let me just tell you, how many of you get confused about what do I do for personal development? What do I do? What books do I read? What courses do I go to? What coaches do I hire? Does anyone feel that way sometimes? Yeah, they're covering that. Exciting, okay? Cam and I are actually starting preliminary stuff today, so it's very exciting. Leadership development and growth. How many times we get told, grow your leaders? How many of you would like to have tools to do that are in Isogenics so that you don't have to look externally?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, can't tell a lot of details, but that's what's coming. Get your seats in those seats at Celebration if you can, because that's where things are going to get rolled out. It's an exciting time. Let's see. All right. Can I just hear from, actually, I'm even going to ask everyone. If you don't mind, I'm going to point to everybody. I'd love to know one word that sums up a value that you can say is part of Isogenics. And if you're brand new, just pick one of the values close to your heart that you honor and cherish. And chances are it's going to be an aligned value with what Isogenics is aligning with. So let me start right here. Family. Integrity.
Abundance.
Abundance.
Health.
Health.
I had integrity, but she took it.
That's okay. Integrity. Nobody takes anything. We have integrity again, okay?
Freedom.
Freedom.
I have family.
Family.
Credibility.
Credibility. Awesome.
Health.
Health.
Integrity.
Integrity. I'm going to come back over. I did have you, yes.
Yeah, integrity.
Integrity.
Connection.
Connection. Awesome. And right back to Kevin.
Health.
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 There's so many.
I know.
I'm gonna say integrity.
Integrity.
I'm gonna go with family because I have so many too.
Awesome.
Purpose.
Purpose.
Health.
Health.
Community.
Community.
Family.
Family.
Oh, I don't know. So many of those have already gone.
Trust.
Trust.
Family.
Family.
Respect.
Respect. Awesome.
Authenticity.
Fantastic.
Integrity.
Integrity.
Honesty.
Honesty.
Family.
Family.
And freedom at many levels.
Fantastic. Shan.
Committed.
Committed.
Progressive.
Progressive. Girls, do you have any words that mean something to you?
Friends.
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 Thank you. That's awesome. You can say any word at all. Disney. Disney works. Travel, right? That's awesome. It actually gives me goosebumps because I know that when we got asked that question, it was a full house. I mean, we were hearing all kinds of words that came up, and this company stands by them all, right? What they wanted to do, and one of the big push right now is we're hearing a lot about one family, one team, right? What does that mean to you if I say one family, one team?
We're in it together.
We're in it together. Okay. So, you know, we've got a lot of different teams in this room, right? A lot of teams that are cross teams, not financially linked. And I am open to having people come here that are not financially linked to me. That's what one team's all about. We all really support each other without that feeling of competition, which I love about this company. And that was one of the serious questions that came up at Top Achievers was, you know, how does everyone feel about that one team philosophy? And there were some people that had a hard time with it. Because, does anyone have any ideas of why it might not be a comfortable fit for some people to say, yeah, you can come to my event, or I'll send someone in my team to your event? Numbers. Anyone? Numbers? They're getting big. Yep, numbers are getting
We're so
big.
used to competitiveness in our environment. Growing up, workforce, you're always kind of
Sports.
competing for that job or the marks or that. So it's kind of hard to
Absolutely.
solve that in mind frame.
Yeah, it's a conditioning, right? We've been conditioned to be very scarcity and competitive, right? Because really what that is scarcity mindset.
And possessiveness too,
Yes,
because how do I know that person's going to support and train like I would?
that's a great idea. And somebody brought that up actually at the event when they got very honest and transparent about it. It's true because, you know, the way Brienne teaches might be completely different from someone she might send to an Australian meeting, right? And I know it's happened to Brienne too, where she had someone that went to an event, and it's, you know, we don't want that to happen where people start switching teams because they feel more supported in their own community. So that's an area that we're, you know, getting a lot of great support from corporate about. Tina, did you have another one?
I was just going to say fear-based mentality.
Okay.
You know, just the fear of, I mean, we don't really need to be that way because there are a lot of people out there, as you've outlined, that have not heard of isogenics that, you know, deserve to hear about it.
Mhm.
So we don't need to be fearful that someone else is going to get your person because there's a lot of other people that deserve to be part of it. And I think that, you know, things happen as they're meant to happen. So we don't need to worry about that.
Right.
Right.
I was just sitting this weekend, at a church function, and person after person who passed by me, I could think of why the product would be good for them, why this one it would be good for, this one, and there were different reasons for everybody, but it was not difficult to, as Tina said, there's all kinds of people out there that could benefit from this product.
Absolutely. And I do believe that things happen for a reason. If someone that you're talking to has joined another team, lesson release, don't be upset with that. I know it's happened to all of us pretty much, that it's, you know, we know a lot of people and a lot of people know other people within the community. So, you know, I just always smile and support and know that it was nothing about me. It's not personal. At the beginning, I thought that, but now being through it and coaching people through it, it's not personal. It actually becomes more about, they might have a stronger relationship with that person, or it might not have really worked, your personality styles, right? So that's something to just continue embracing, I guess we can say. So, you know, obviously, I do have some tools here, but at the very end of the presentation tonight, I'll probably share most of the tools. But one tool I do want to share tonight at this beginning part is a really awesome thing that they've created. And I'm actually going to pass one around for you guys to take a look at, and I'm going to explain it as you do pass it around. So we'll start here. This is a great one because this is all about who are we? What is our culture? What do we stand for? What do we, you know, want to represent to the world? And I see a lot happening with this one document. There were so many ideas. How many of you feel that sometimes there's a lot of recognition as far as rank? And for those of you who have been to big events, sometimes the recognition, I mean, it's great. I think that everyone deserves to be recognized, and I believe every single one of you do. Sometimes it can get to be a little much, and sometimes it can also be a bit discouraging for maybe a brand new person or someone who's been in the business for 5 or 6 years and hasn't moved much. Everyone's on their own journey, right? We're not in a race. It's not a marathon that you're trying to beat the other person, but everyone's at their own place in the journey. So what somebody had recommended was, let's tie the values that we stand for to recognizing one person a month or one person a week or something like that. It might not be someone making a lot of money. It might not be someone who's even rank advanced yet, but they are standing by the Isogenics values and creating an amazing culture in the world. And I thought that was really beautiful. So anyway, so what they've tried to do is taken all your ideas of all the values that we stand beside and try to summarize them into 12. Now, this book is going to be revamped. It doesn't actually have the value written on it. So they told us what the values were. They didn't say either, I'm sure that this is in Sound Concepts, but again, we've been told that it's going to be changed. So it might not be available yet, I'm not sure. The first one is health. And many of you said that one as your value. Eat it, love it, share it. And what they've done is they've done an ISA-ism first on the page, the splash. And on the other side, they've made a description of what that actually means to Isogenics and all of us. So here's an example. Health is a foundational pillar to living a magnificent life. Without health, we have nothing. How true is that, right? Health is the foundation of who we are, our #1 priority, and our gift to the world. We are committed to impact world health physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, and spiritually. This is reflected through our no-compromise products, which combine the best of science and nature to help anyone take control of their health. Isagenix is impacting world health by helping families integrate nourishing, convenient, and affordable solutions into their everyday lives. How awesome is that? I'm not going to read them all, but you'll see this come around, and I'll have this for you guys to take a look at. Freedom, free to be me. How awesome is that? And that's one that I'm really stepping into right now, because for 5 years, not that I haven't been myself, but I've hid behind a mask. How many can relate to that? Hiding behind a mask. When that mask comes off, that's when you're fully free, right? And it's quite an amazing feeling to get there. And I know that many people in this room today have helped me get there. So, you know, we believe you can have it all, is what they say. Isagenix is committed to being the vehicle for people to create physical, emotional, spiritual, time, and financial freedom in their lives. You can live a life of passion, purpose, and fun. And it goes on. Awesome things. Innovation. How many of you agree that we are on the leading edge of a lot of things? Innovation. Leading today, improving tomorrow. Awesome. Every day we challenge the status quo. That's the first line. I just love it. Count on me. Integrity. That was one of the key ones, right? Integrity. We remain steadfast in our commitment to always do the right thing the right way. Gratitude is our attitude. How many of you do gratitude every day? Gratitude, right? That's where it starts. We believe gratitude is essential to a fulfilling life. Gratitude is understanding and appreciate the impact each of us has in creating positive change for ourselves, our friends and our families, our communities, and the world at large. And it continues on. Contribution. How many of you feel that because of Isagenix, you're able to contribute more? In maybe it's time, because you have a little more time, or maybe you're actually able to donate $10 a month to Make-A-Wish. Or maybe you're able to volunteer a little bit more. Maybe that's one of your goals, is you want to help somebody in need. It might not be, but contributing is quite, you know, that's what makes me excited too. Goal-driven. Dream, achieve, celebrate, repeat. Love it. What you dare to dream, you can achieve at Isagenix. We are a goal-driven organization that continually sets the bar high. Purpose. I think someone said purpose. The stronger the why, the higher you fly. Awesome.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, isn't that great? Transformational growth. And this is where, like I said, they're really investing in all of us. Grow yourself, expand your world. And that's probably one of the things that I've realized in the last few years, anyway, the last year for sure, hearing certain leaders on stage talk about, don't worry so much about the strategy behind it, grow yourself and the rest will follow. And that's, you know, when I see that people are struggling with things, I know that the personal growth is part of where their journey is going next. Leadership development. Like I said, we're developing leaders. Leaders grow here. How awesome. I love that. It says here, at Isagenix, our leaders are one of our most important assets. We're committed to developing and supporting leaders to create a global impact. And with what's to come, they really are committed to us. It's amazing. Live, love, and laugh out loud. This one's about fun. How many could have more fun in life? Mm-hmm. That was actually one, because they asked us, what are you committed to doing? You know, take 3 things, 3 values that you're going to put into place. And somebody that was on stage actually said they're really serious and they're ready to start having more fun. So that's really exciting too. And actually the first sentence says, we believe that every day we paint our own picture, which is awesome. Unity or family. Family is actually the word, but I wrote unity as well because it really encompasses the whole thing. One company, one team, and one family. And, you know, it really is about legacy. It's not about success for 30 days or even for 3 years, 30 years. It's legacy. Because what you're planting today is going to continue to pay forward to future generations. And that's really exciting. So I just absolutely love this little book. And I'll pass it over here to get this moving around a little bit more. So, you know, that in itself, that was the way the day started, the first day. And I just remember I was so emotional. Of course, here I am, the person that used to cry all the time. And sitting there that day, whenever someone would talk to me, I'd be like, I can't even speak. I couldn't even say those words because that's how much it really got into my heart. So let's just take a look. I want to make sure I don't miss certain things here. All right. Moving on to this next part. Actually, no, I want to talk about compliance first. What do you think when we say the word compliance? Katie?
Don't be a fool, use a tool.
Okay, awesome. Don't be a fool, use a tool. That's a great one.
Staying within the guidelines.
Staying within the guidelines, okay. This is probably one of the most difficult areas of the business. Would you agree? And the reason why is that our products are amazing. They do amazing things. They change us. They transform us. They transform not only our health, but our mind, our body, you know, our spiritual, everything. I mean, it changes everything. But, you know, interestingly enough, we had an amazing example of compliance and how serious it really is. With the growth that we are experiencing right now, it is, I mean, this will be our first $1 billion year. And just to put that into perspective, companies in our area of business in network marketing take usually on average 25 years if they make it past 5 years to get to $1 billion a year. We are 13 years old this year. We're going to hit it in 13 years. No company's ever done that. So what's happening now is we are on radar, right? We are on radar. There are people watching us, watching each and every one of you on social media, watching each and every one of us on recordings like this, on stage. People are getting planted, right? This is happening because we are growing like a giant. So we have to be really, really cognizant of what we are posting. It can't be coincidental. You can't make any claims. Absolutely nothing can be said about medical things. You know, I remember even years ago, I talked about blood pressure because I was amazed with what was happening. And my doctor gave me results. Can't say anything. Can't say anything. There are studies going on right now, amazing studies, and there's some that are going to be released soon in more publications. Very exciting time. Even those studies, if we share them without actually having the study in hand, you can't just quote off a study. It has to be in print because that is science, right? So it's really, really one of the most important areas of our business to keep on top of. If you ever see someone posting something that you're not too sure about, let the person know. If there's a time that you might have posted something recently that you're not too sure of, ask somebody and say, is this okay? Because in the end, we just don't want to jeopardize what our legacy company is doing for us. And it takes one person. It really does. So that was probably the most scary thing for us. And then when we had our last night dinner, which was the white, I don't know if you guys have seen some of the photos, but we all had to wear white that last night for the French Riviera. And at our table, we had the main lawyer in the company sitting with us. Amazing man. The poor guy didn't eat a bite of his dinner because we're all asking him all these questions. And of course, with some wine, we're even asking more deep ones. But, you know, he said that one thing that is amazing about our company, and I've done it, like, okay, I sat there and I said to him, I was one of those people, because what happens is we get so excited about the information, we get so excited about what's happening. We might hear something at a training event by a doctor or a scientist who's actually done the research, and then we try to put it in our own words. Has anyone done that? And then you try to regurgitate it to other people. It doesn't work. Even if you're a doctor, they're actually saying, please don't, because that's a general conversation. It has to be backed by science. So, you know, any of the science stuff that was being done, they actually made us not take, they do not take photos, do not take, because they don't want any of that going out there. It has to come from the journal only. So that's probably one of the most things I can stress right now. But what I had done years ago when Product B came out was I listened so intently at an event to, you know, Dr. Bill Andrews, and I wrote copious notes. I took, like, word for word. I probably could have quoted the man. And I posted that on a website. It went like wildfire to all kinds of associates. It was really well written. People were saying, oh my gosh, this is amazing. You know, it was wonderful. I got a letter from the lawyer at Isogenics. It was a warning. And it was serious. And I had no idea I had put the company in such a compromised position. I was passionate. I was excited. Everyone here is only doing it because they're excited and passionate. But this is where we're going to stop it. We don't want our team to be the team that does it. So that's what I can say. And when I talked to the lawyer that I actually said to him, I'll be honest with you, I got a letter. I don't know if it was from him or maybe it was someone else at the time, because they had outside external lawyers years ago as well, and now he's internal. And he said it's amazing what this company stands for, you know, but they're also not going to, I made a big mistake. I didn't realize it. But the way that the company treats people like us who do make that mistake, they're not going to revoke you. I mean, unless you get a warning and you do it again and again and again, then yeah, you're going to lose your position. But with the warnings, they don't want us to feel like we've done something wrong. It's all in love, which is what I just absolutely love, but it still doesn't give us any position to do it. So if that's the one message I give you guys tonight, I just hope that we can really commit to that, because it is so important. I didn't realize how important it was until really hearing from the lawyer. And, you know, in saying that, the word came out tonight about coffee, right? Yes, it's exciting. It's not available yet. So what they want us to say is, please don't share anything that you've heard about it, because it is a new product that they're trying to bring to, you know, to us. We don't have a date, but there's so much scientific research behind that product, because how many of you have heard that coffee is not healthy, right? Do they want Isagenix to be tied with a product that's not healthy? Absolutely not. They don't want that to start going around and we now create all kinds of negative attention. So that's why that should not have been out there, because there's nothing backing it yet. There is, but they haven't published it for our use yet. So the best thing to do is say, yeah, I've heard something, yeah, but I know nothing about it. That's the best thing we can say. So I just wanted to clear that, because some of you have been really excited about it, and everyone is. But we just really, we don't know anything about it yet. With that, let's see. Okay, so let's move on to this part. Tools. So growth, support, leadership, I kind of touched on that a little bit. I'm not going to give you a lot of details on that. Just be, you know, ready for it, because it's going to be, it'll be a game changer. I swear it will be. We had a speaker come in and he talked about, you know, the time that we have in the day. Every single one of us has the same amount of seconds in the day, right? So we have 86,000 plus seconds in the day. How are we spending that time? He said if we spent, you know, some of us spend our money a lot and it's gone. So we have no money left. And Cam and I will say we're guilty of that. That's changing. It's a mindset thing. It's a blueprint, right? Just like what we do with our time. Invest your time like you invest your money. If you want to grow a successful Isagenix business, it takes time. It's not just a, oh, I can do it on 2 minutes a day. It's consistent daily action. And sometimes we only have 15 minutes a day, but if you touch your business and you're investing in the right actions, it's going to pay you tenfold. It'll happen. So he talked about that. But he also talked about how we have an identity. How many of you, and this is a transparency night, how many of you have ever tried to possibly do the IsaBody challenge but never completed it? I'm with you. I've tried 4 and I've never completed 4. How many of you have ever said you're going to start saving money to invest and it seems to get spent before you have the savings? All right. How many of you, even though you're using Isagenix, have ever felt like, oh, you know, just for this once, I'm going to go through the drive-through, and then it happens a little bit more often? We're all guilty of something, right? And no judgment. This is no judgment. This is what I love about this. Right? It happens. It happens to all of us. We're human beings. But what they talked about was we have an identity right now. Each and every one of us sitting here has an identity. We also have a self-sabotage. All I'll say is they're creating tools for us to help us get through that. How great would it be?
When are they coming?
And that's where they're investing in that growth stuff, right? It's not only personal development and leadership growth, but they're bringing something to us that all I can tell you is make sure you have IsaPulse. Make sure you use it, because you're going to start getting notifications about what's happening. There's going to be amazing things happening with IsaPulse. You will not want to miss these announcements. How many of you feel as though you help people, maybe if it's weight loss or energy and performance, they get really great results, but something gets them back into the same patterns? Maybe they stop using the products, or they start going a little bit off and they you know, or some people quit altogether after their 60-day, right? What they're finding is there's a missing link. We're helping people get healthier bodies, but they still have unhealthy brain, unhealthy heads, right? It's all mindset stuff. So just know that they're connecting the two, which is awesome. It gets so exciting. Yes, these hats, aren't they awesome? This is Cam's hat. And they fit so nice. Oh, you didn't get the green jacket, no. For those of you at home, I don't know if you saw those awesome, awesome hats. So cool. All right. I'm only on page 1. Uh-oh. How long do you guys have? I'll have to shorten it.
How long can we stay?
I know, well.
What time?
Yeah. I love it. That's awesome. Okay, how many of you, and I know that many of us do this, how many of you are like running to those ranks? You want to get to director, executive, you know, 1-star, 2-star, whatever that is, that you have that on your goal. I'm guilty of it too, right? Because we all know that usually we put a goal to something, right? What they really tried to say for us is where you focus is where you go. But if you're focused 100% on money and that reward or that trip or that, it's not the right reasons. And it comes across as pushy, as not authentic, you know. You're not, it's all about an external.
It's not long term. It's not a long term.
Right.
Kind of,
Yeah, and it
Do you know what I
sometimes
mean?
can turn people off. Would you
people don't
agree?
think you're in it for the
And
long
it's-
haul. You're just in it for the money.
Right.
And
Start.
it's against the value of wanting to help others, right? Like, so then it's a conflict.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if it was Jim Cooper at the time on stage, but he said, I promise you, when you start focusing on the people that you're helping, that stuff will all happen. That stuff will all happen. It might not happen when your goal was set for it, but it will happen. It's inevitable if you don't quit, right? It really is. It is. And it feels good when you can say, wow, I didn't even realize that this was happening because I was over here focused on these people,
But
right?
it's almost impossible to fail.
It
Like
is.
if you keep helping other people, you can't. You just
Mhm.
can't go backwards.
Exactly. And why this quote, I remember hearing this quote and not really getting it at first, but you can't take rank to the bank. I mean, if you go for a mortgage and say I'm 2-star golden circle, yeah, they have no idea. Like, that's not the way that we work in life. So yes, you're aiming for certain areas of where you want to be, and it's just going to continue to grow. There's no doubt about it. So and that's where we talk about ease. And I'm sorry to those at home because you're probably not seeing all of this, but
It's backwards.
oh,
Yeah, it's just
It's the way it can be.
okay.
If it was on a mirror.
So I guess that's not even going to work. So I'll just talk. You guys can look at the fireplace. Okay, so that's something techie. I need someone, see? You don't really need to know what you're doing sometimes. Yeah, awesome. We'll hire him next
You
time.
need to hang a mirror there. To
Yeah,
behind
exactly.
there and turn your finger.
That's right. I'm sorry to those of you at home. Anyway, ease comes from being you. And I know that not always do we feel like we're ourselves because we have all these external pressures, all this judgment, all this stuff going on, but that will come with that personal development piece. And I know that I've learned a lot through Tina, actually, in the last little bit, and many other amazing leaders. I look to the leaders that I can see are being authentic, and I do what they're doing. I'm not trying to be them, but I'm learning from the strategies that they are using. And Tina, thank you for that, because you are. You're heart-centered and you can feel it. I know that everyone in this room can probably feel that. If you haven't met her, you will feel it. You know, and again, we just talk about the fact that don't be obsessed with rank. Be obsessed with helping people. That's pretty much it. 12 symptoms of the spiritual awakening. Now, I'm not a religious person, and I'm not, you know, I feel that there is more. Not going to get into a religion talk, but the whole idea of spiritual awakening, I think that we're really connecting everything in isogenics with who we truly are. And I found something today online that I just thought really worked well with this. And you're going to get a copy of this tonight, so don't feel that you have to take it down. But I just wanted to share it because I think that it's a really great example of where we are going if you're not feeling like you're 100% yourself yet. Let's just make sure I have it here. Right here. It's probably hard to see.
Kara,
Yes.
apparently you could read it.
Oh, you could. Someone
Yeah.
texted. Oh, thank you for that feedback.
She probably went backwards on it.
Okay, so it's just us then.
Yeah, she's like, I was reading fine.
Okay, cool. So you guys will be getting this, but I love what this says, because this is really where I feel that each of us is stepping into, if you aren't already. And I'd like to, when you get this, to check off the ones that you feel that you are already feeling. So number one, that one's kind of hard to read, but an increased tendency to let things happen rather than make them happen, right? So that is when we feel forced. We're forcing something, and it kind of almost doesn't jive sometimes. Frequent attacks of smiling. And that's something that honestly I feel as though I can't stop smiling, because there's just so many great things. Yes, there are bad moments of the day. Yes, there are bad days. But all in all, it's about, all the great things. Focusing on what you want instead of what you don't want. Feelings of being connected to others and nature. Frequent overwhelming episodes of appreciation. A tendency to think and act spontaneously rather than from fears based of past experience. And for those of you who know my flying fear, that was when I actually feel like I'm breaking through. Like, this was the first time after the event, though. The flight there was, I could have probably pulled Cam's leg off a couple times. But coming home, I was by myself, which made me nervous at first because I've never been by myself on the plane. But I think it all happened at the right time, right after this event. So anyway, that's a really neat one. An unmistakable ability to enjoy each moment, a loss of ability to worry, a loss of interest in conflict, a loss of interest in interpreting the actions of others, a loss of interest in judging others, a loss of interest in judging self, and gaining the ability to love without expecting anything. Is that not amazing? And I feel as though they're true, authentic people, and you guys know who I'm talking about. When you see those people, you also can tell the other ones from a mile away that are not living in this, right? But I think this is a really cool checklist for all of us. So I just wanted to copy that. And if I don't have enough copies, make sure you talk to me. I only did 25, but I think we have more than 25 here tonight. So, yeah. All right. Let me just see what else do I have for this one here. Okay, just before we move on, I'm just going to keep it on the screen for those at home. Incentives, we kind of touched on that. The incentives about the reward versus the goal. So, if you happen to, get a certain reward, so it could be the bonus money or a trip, top achievers, anything like that. Yes, that's exciting. You deserve that. That's a reward for all the hard work you're doing. But don't make that your goal for doing it, right? Make that your, wow, if I get there, that's awesome. And certainly that doesn't mean don't print off the photos for your vision board. If you want to get to the French Riviera, print those photos. Make it, front and center. But know that that's not the reason you're doing what you're doing. And I think people will really start to feel that from us when it's not a focus for that reason. Can and cannot. Now, this is something that I was actually really interested to hear about, because how many of you have ever been in the team long enough to see some incentives and some bonuses and some things offered by the team? Okay, so other than Isogenics things, there's some leaders that sometimes offer incentives and things. One thing, it's fine to do, but it has to be within compliance. Again, so here's an idea of how we can and cannot use incentives. So if some of you are thinking of using incentives for your team, just know the right way to do it. We cannot how do you say that word? Incentivize. That's even a word, incentify. We cannot do that for enrollments. So it can't be, hey, you'll get 50% off your enrollment if you join today with the product introductory bonuses and that kind of thing. You can't offer to give them money back. You can't discount the price unless it's already discounted by Isogenics. So that's something we cannot do. So it's not like, hey, if you join me, I'll give you $50 back because that's my PIB. They don't need to know that, but you can't do that. And that's something I didn't know, because I think I've done that in the past where it's like, oh, hey, I'll give my bonus. So just be careful what you do. There have been teams that actually, and maybe some of you have been caught in this, not caught in it, but have lost people to teams that have done that. And it's happened recently, actually. So that became a compliance issue, and they're working on that. So just know. Other things, I know that some of you might have already seen that there's been stuff on Amazon and things like that. They're working on it. Okay, it's not going to happen overnight, but they're working on it. It's a lot of work to do this, but that's something they're working on. Yeah, okay, so we kind of covered some of that stuff too. Now, I wanted to share this really quickly. This was a really cool thing because I think so many of us talk about belief. And just for those at home, I'll show you guys the screen again here. And since we know they can see it, all right. Try to do that. Yeah, no, that's okay. We're not going to stop it. Okay. All right. So the belief model. It's not about how. How many of you have ever heard P.K. Smith said, don't focus on the how, don't ask how, just know why, right? We are so caught up, and I know I've done this too. We're so caught up in how do I do this? What's the structure? What's the
recipe?
Yeah, right? That gets us caught up in all this, what's right, what's wrong. And I know we've got certain tools to help us with that. And yes, that's what's helping us with the how, but don't get so caught up in that, right? Some people are getting prepared to get prepared to get prepared, and they never do, right? They never be. So that's where we have to try to make that shift. So belief, and this is really cool. Belief is a certainty about something. How many of you have belief that Isogenics is the company that can change your future? Okay, I hope everybody does. And if you're still so new and you don't feel that way yet, once you get there, anything's possible. But it's a certainty. Capability. How many of you do know that there are certain people in your organization, or maybe even you sitting here tonight, that you have belief, but you're not sure that you're capable? Okay, so that's a bit of the belief thing, but that comes down to, am I capable, or am I just thinking that maybe I'm not? Most of you are capable. Everyone here is, because you can read, you can write, you can get on the computer. If you are not feeling capable, improve your skill level and you'll be capable, right? We all have that capacity to do that. Strategy, that's when the strategy comes in. So forget about putting strategy at the top. How do I do this? No, get your belief first. And that's why actually on our website for the team, seeitwhenyoubelieveit.com, that's number one step. And I've just done that because I know that before I had the full belief in all the things, the network marketing industry, the company, the products, the compensation plan, and myself, I wasn't unstoppable. But when I got that to a 10 out of 10 in all those areas, I became unstoppable. Nothing anyone said about the network marketing profession was going to stop me. No naysayer telling me I was stupid to leave teaching was ever going to stop me, because my belief was so high. I had an absolute certainty, even with my husband, when he said for 18 months, this isn't going to work. Are you crazy? You're going to another event, right? And I'm just in love. I'm saying that because he's completely a different guy. But I had the certainty. He had uncertainty. Do you get that?
Oh, yeah.
So if you're sitting here with uncertainty, or you have someone in your life that is uncertain, they're not going to support you.
That's why I say the events. Like the events. Like
Oh.
that's what you're saying. But even look at Kim. Like, what would your belief be now after Top Achievers?
Oh no, I had the belief before Top Achievers.
I know you did, but would you say
Something
it's been
shifted
heightened?
though.
No, a couple things.
Oh.
Top Achievers was just the kind of the epiphany of probably 6 months of what I've had up here.
Yeah.
With myself and what I wanted to do. So a birthday was a big thing. Like a couple things. I see really the end of my career coming, like in policing. So I see, and it's all around us.
Yeah.
So I to get on Facebook was a big thing.
Today.
But can I just say something? Don't you think so? I just believe that everything so happens for a reason, and to have that, that challenge, it's your conditioning. I mean, you would not be where you are had, that dynamic not been part of the process. And I think that is so true because, I have it in my own family. I've got it, my world, my why completely changed on so many levels.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that adversity, I'm so grateful for it because it has allowed me to be able to really grow into the person I'm really supposed to be.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what, I see with a lot of people in this company. It's just that it's all welcome, even though it's not simple at the time.
Mhm.
There's a reason, there's a purpose, there's that you don't have to know the how. There's there's why behind it.
But that is, it's all about you.
Right.
You don't need to rely on anyone else.
Nope.
In the business, it's all
Exactly.
about you, and that's why the personal growth is so important.
Mhm.
Totally.
Yeah, we can't get there without the personal growth. It's absolutely impossible.
Yeah.
And some of you have a lot of personal growth, but we all have the ability to keep growing. And I mean, David Wood says it all the time. We can only grow our business to the amount we are willing to grow ourselves. So if you're feeling stuck right now, that's where you want to start. Even though we don't have that in place yet with Isogenics, start doing your own reading and asking people what you can read or what you can listen to.
I think it's a key word, what can I do?
Yes,
Not what can't I do, what can I do?
absolutely.
Tara, I think of the baby chick, and he needs that eggshell to break through to be strong enough to
It's a good analogy.
That's a great one. Oh, I love that. Yeah, it is.
Maybe it is placed there too. Like maybe that's
And nobody breaks that egg for the chick, right? I think that's what sometimes some of us are hoping for, is that someone is going to give them that recipe or that secret or that kick in the behind. Nobody is there to do that for us. It's all our own mindset that we're creating for ourselves. It's just, what are we focusing on, right? Are we focusing on those things we can't do, or are we focusing on what can I do next to make it even there? So of course then comes the result. I love this because uncertainty, let's talk about uncertainty for a minute. Uncertainty is actually what we're most afraid of. My fear of flying is about the uncertainty of it. Your fear of talking to someone and my fear of talking to someone is because we're uncertain about how that is going to, what's the result? Are they going to laugh at us? Are they going to say no to us? We're fearful of the uncertainty. So think about any fear you have right now, attach uncertainty to it, and you know that's what it is. Right? Any fear is about uncertainty. People quit when uncertainty is too great. I don't know if I have my markers here. And that's like, when they said that, that hit me hard. Because think about the people in your life who have started Isogenics and quit. It might be that they were uncertain in their own ability. Maybe they were uncertain in the company because they didn't have a high level of belief yet. They're uncertain in, well, this didn't work for me fast enough, so I'm not going to invest another month. Maybe the uncertainty in your training. Maybe they felt that, well, you don't know what you're talking about, so how would I ever know? When it becomes uncertain, that's when a lot of people will quit. So our job is to grow leaders. Leaders grow here without force. And I hope that I put the next thing. Yeah, this is what I want you guys. And if I'm going too fast, you can let me know. The next thing is awesome because this is what it all comes down to. Did you know that the quality of your life is in direct proportion to how much uncertainty you can be comfortable with? Being okay with the uncertainty, understanding that it's there. Uncertainty is okay. In other words, get comfortable in your uncomfortable zone. So this is just reaffirming what we've already been told, but in a different way, which is really cool. Because yeah, there's people that are going to say to you, I don't know if I can do this. Great. Celebrate that. I'll help you. I don't know if I can do this either, but let's do it together, right? So I really love that one. Is there anyone who has anything to share right now? I know some people are taking notes and I don't want to rush too quickly through this one, but is there anyone who wants to just have a moment to take the floor for a sec?
All right, I would share.
Yes, please.
When I was at the end of high school, or no, sorry, it was the end of university, 4th year at Queens, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I didn't think I had the marks to get into vet school, but I also knew I wanted to travel. And I'd wanted to travel for a few years, and that was when I made the decision to go to Australia, and I told you guys that. And it was quite scary because it was a big decision, and I was going on my own, and I was going with my backpack, and I really didn't know I just knew Australia was across the other side of the world. I didn't really, there was a few connections, but I'd never really met these people face to face other than one, briefly one evening in Canada. But it was really cool. It was probably the best decision I'd ever made. But mom and dad were pretty worried. But it, you know, it was great. It was the best thing I ever did.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And it kind of relates back to here when we hear that quote that says, the magic happens outside your comfort zone, right? She took a huge leap of faith with no certainty whatsoever. And it became one of the best times in her life.
I met my husband.
Yeah. It's that 20 seconds of courage, right?
That's right.
Doing it even though we're scared to death to do it.
So embrace the
Yeah, right? And I think when we see it that way, it makes more sense. So that gets me excited. All right. This is, again, our patterns, and we've kind of talked about this a bit about we put more energy and emotion into what we don't want. Like me, and Cam has said it to me before I saw this. You constantly say you're afraid to fly. You post it. You talk about it. You live it, right? And I'm like, I know, but I'm afraid. So when we stop focusing our energy and our emotion to what we don't want, that's when we really become free. And that can be put in every area of our life, which I think is really cool. So shift to focus on what we do want. Be uncomfortable and excited. And I know Brianne has been beside me on a plane before too, and she said, but just think about it. Flying is exciting because it's taking you to a totally new place. And she actually, you know, I remember, and every time I fly, I think of that. I'm like, Brianne said this, and it's so true. Because without flying, I wouldn't be going to these places experiencing the world. I want to go to Australia someday. I want to go to Maui next year, you know?
It's the next step in your growth in this whole company too, right?
It
Like,
is.
Every flight is.
It relates to it so well. So anyway,
Your uncertainty held you back from flying.
and it's,
It
yeah.
could have contributed to
Oh,
it in the
yeah.
past. Like you indicated the other high
achievers,
achievers
yeah.
functions you didn't attend for some
Many
fulfilling
reasons, but that
whatever.
was-
But that was probably
Oh, yeah.
that subconscious part of you
It is,
saying,
and yeah, and there are tons of events, even generic ones that I could get to, and personal growth ones that I'd love to go to. And I've always said, nope, too many flights. I'm going to stop it now.
Do you
So
remember the author of Think and Grow Rich for Women?
yes,
She
Shannon
did. Shannon.
Lecter or something.
She talks about worrying is like praying for things you don't want. And I used to worry a lot. And I'm just, we want to think about the things we want, but that's exactly what worry is.
Yeah,
So we
So
just
true.
have to
yeah.
not worry. It's not going to help
just
us.
flip it.
And many of you know
Not
someone who talks about that stuff all the time, right? And they're probably bringing that back into their life constantly. So anyway, it's just awareness, right? It's awareness. All right, this is, oh, I love this one. And I know some of you might be like, oh, these are a lot of notes, but who do you know with a heart of gold, but? How many of you have heard that before? Oh, but she has such a heart of gold, but she looks like she's got a scowl on her face all the time. Oh, he's the nicest guy. He looks like he's going to tear my head off. How many of you can relate to that? You know the person on an internal level and on a really close level, they would do anything for anybody level. But you also know that they have that outside shell that's got this big bubble around them. So what they wanted to talk about was, and I wanted to bring it tonight to this, the power of our communication, right? Communication's huge. Does anyone know the percentages or approximates to make up 100%?
Words are like 7%.
Body language is
Is it
5
7? Body language is like 80 or something.
and tone is 9.
Tone's huge.
20 and 50. No. No.
Body language is
I
the
thought
biggest.
body
This
language
is
was
a crazy, crazy thing because so many of us think our words mean everything.
Body language.
Oh, that was 55.
What's the difference there for tone?
38.
So that's something to be really aware of. Yeah, rah rah poo poo. I had to put that there to remember, to tell you guys. Because I think all of us have done this at one point or another. You know, it might have been the first time you went to an event. It might be tonight. You came here going, oh, I don't really want to go. What's this about? You know, the example was there are people that come to your events. They could be coming to a Super Saturday, or maybe you drag them with you on the plane to go to a celebration. Please just come and see what it's all about. And they're like, this is not my thing. They have way too much rah-rah stuff going on. I'm not a huggy person. I don't like music that loud. And then, you know, you hear the other person say, well, you're being quite negative. I'm not negative. I'm realistic.
Why are they smiling so
How many of you, yeah, what are they on? This is some sort of cult, right? The quote was, you can't be rah-rah and poo-poo at the same time. So you're either rah-rah or you're poo-poo. Right? And I think that sometimes we forget the body language that we're presenting ourselves with. Yes, we might be having a bad day, but just know that your body language is the window to who you are. Right? And I know people who have said, oh, this business is so hard. I can't do it. I don't know why it's not working. Well, what are you portraying to the world? You might be saying in your words, oh, this is the best product ever. I feed it to my kids. I love it. You'll love it too. But if you're totally throwing out those signals, it's not going to happen. It's huge, right? So this was a really big reminder, and I know that all of us are guilty of it at some level.
Tara, my father-in-law gave me marital advice
Oh,
when we announced our engagement. And he said, if you're ever going to be in a fight, which it will happen, stand with the door between you. Because something your spouse will do will trigger a previous girlfriend or a previous mother experience or a previous something, and the body language will take off and the words will disappear. So no longer are you fighting about what's happening, you're fighting about a memory. And it's just an innate sense that we all pick up. So he always told us, fight with something between us. And our best resolutions have happened from different rooms. Yelling and screaming across the house, but it's happened because we're not looking at each other.
interesting. Because if that's so huge, we're picking up nonverbal cues, right? And even the tone is nonverbal. It's the tone of our voice.
I've been told several times that the tone of my voice from my kids, it sounds like I'm going to murder them. But I'm not actually feeling that. I'm not feeling that, but that's, I guess, the tone. They tell me that that's what I sound like.
And I know that many of us are very intuitive, and I think that's where that comes from, where, you know, sometimes it's like, I don't know, there's something about that, what just happened that doesn't feel right. Even though they seemed really nice and sincere, something doesn't sit right. It could be even a trainer on the phone that you're hearing their tone and their language, but the way you can't see them. Were you going to say something, Tina?
I was just going to say this, what's so cool about this is that you can apply it, because we can look at it a lot of different ways, but you can apply it in the fact that if you're looking to connect with someone, to share information, or even just to connect with the person, it doesn't really matter what you say.
Yeah.
It's
You
your
know,
body
like,
language.
don't be so stressed about, well, I don't know what to say. I'm not really sure how to, you know, because then your
Don't
body
worry
and your
about that.
tone shows that.
Just
Say a quick little prayer. You know what? Thank you for the words. I just really am looking forward to connecting heart to heart with this person. And then as I'm standing here like this, but just allow yourself to just take a breath, feel the energy, and just, you know, have it be a mutual, you know, receive from them. And then your words will matter less because there's a bond. Like if you're smiling at someone, genuinely smiling and looking into the eyes, like I'm looking into Bree's eyes right now, like there's just a connection. We've had that connection since the day I met you.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's not. So that's where your words really matter less and everything else matters more. So apply that to so many different things, you know, throughout your life and through your day. It becomes fun.
It does.
Because it's like, you know, like David Wood always says, if you're gonna have a conversation, stand up. You know, like I had the biggest chicken call today I've ever made, and I stood up. I kind of did a little dance. I put on "Don't Stop Believin'," and I was like dancing around my living room. And then I made the call, and I just felt so good about the call because I was in that, you know, space that it didn't matter what the outcome was. I just wanted to connect with this person. You know, so
I love that. And I love that you've applied that to this, because so many people do say, what do I say? What if I say the wrong thing? You'll never say the wrong thing to the right person.
Yeah.
And I had a coach one time who would ask me, what's your vibrational level today? And he'd say, out of 1 to 10, where are you in your vibrational level? Some mornings I wake up and I had a rough morning getting the kids to school or something. Well, it's a 2. How can you raise that level? And Tina just expressed a couple of them. Stand up, put on the music, whatever gets you going to raise that vibrational level, because what happens is we connect with people on that level, and we're going to attract people on the same vibrational level as us. So if we're down here trying to be here but being fake about it, we're going to attract the people with the vibrational level at a 2, right?
If you've ever worked with athletes, they will do that very technique time with Tina, you know, in terms of to get them in the zone, in their zone, and then pump themselves up. And that's very similar to what you're saying. Like, get yourself in that zone before you make the call.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
They also, because I work in a call center, you don't see people face to face all the time. They will say if you smile, it makes a ton of difference in the way things kind of go. So if you just smile when you're talking to people, then people pay attention to that more than anything else.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can feel it, right? It's so cool. All right. All right. So I've already kind of told you about Isopulse. If you don't have it or you don't know what that is, feel free to stick around and we'll show you. It's really easy. It's free. You don't pay for it, but it will be updated and lots will be happening. Okay. Okay, we're going to try to get through this now because I know it's getting close to 9. I want to respect your time, but there's a lot of really awesome things, so feel free to stay longer if you want to. But just to get through some of this quickly, clearly we have a lot of science and third-party testing going on. It's still going on. I don't think they'll ever stop it. You can get excited about it because there's some amazing things happening with the testing. They're investing in not only 6-month studies, but long-term studies, which will blow any kind of science out of the water anyway. Some tools. Now, I want to pass some around because I did take photocopies. How many of you, and some of you are fairly new, so you might not, but how many of you have used some sort of associate checklist or interview in the past? All right. This is, again, where the whole unity piece comes, right? Isagenix has a lot of great leadership in pockets all over the globe. A lot of them create their own tools. Some of us get this one, that one, this one, and we get overwhelmed with which one do we use. Has anyone ever felt that way? Yeah. This was like a breath of fresh air. I went, oh my gosh, because sometimes I actually stopped using them because I'm like, I don't know which one I should use, and do I do it with this person and that person and something different with that person? They've taken that off our shoulders. They've made something that we can all use. So I'm going to show you where you'll find it on the web, but I also wanted to give you copies. So like I said, we don't have enough probably, so share it around and I can make copies for anyone who's able to stay a few minutes after. There are 3 pages front and back. This one with the spiritual stuff on the back is actually an associate commitment form. So it would be something that we would technically ask and have your new member answer the questions, and basically it's giving them kind of an outline of what they are willing to say that their goals are. Basically, it makes them accountable, helps you keep them accountable. New associate checklist. So this is really great because it really is very similar to what Susan Sly has given us as far as the 8 steps. What they've done is they've tried to make it only 6 steps. Actually, there's kind of like a 7th step, but some of them are, you know, very similar to what we've already done for those of you who have seen the 8 steps, but I just think that you're really going to have a great time with that one. And the other one, and for those of you at home, I am going to show you where this is, but for now, I'm just going to pass these out to everyone. This is the new associate interview. So this is something, you know, obviously we've had a version of this before. It's great. I mean, it helps us just really outline the things that we're looking to ask people, because sometimes we don't know what to ask. And we just enroll someone and let them kind of get their stuff, and then we try to coach them through things. But this will really help all of us start with a tool. So where we will find this Now, I actually asked just about an hour before you guys got here because I wasn't able to find it where they told us it's going to be, but I'm going to show you where it's going to be because one of the corporate team members posted back to me saying it's not there yet, but here's the hard link that took me right to it, but it will be on isogenicsbusiness.com. All 3 of these will be there under the tools section, okay? So I'll show you where that is. Oops. Okay. So like I said, you would find it under isogenicsbusiness.com. I just want to make sure. Now here, you can get to there a few ways. Tools right down here, but I always like the drop-down menu. I go to Tools. Yes, there's 3 that look very similar, so you're probably getting different ones, but if you end up getting duplicates, we'll make sure you get all 3. Under Flyers and PDFs. Okay, so I went to isogenicsbusiness.com, Tools, Flyers and PDFs. You will find it here eventually under the PDF section, okay? While I'm here, I'm going to show you another tool. And for those of you at home, actually, just before I do that, let me just show you, whoops, where is it? I wonder if I closed it already, for those of you at home. Okay, I lost it. For those of you at home, I'm really sorry, but what I'm going to do is I will be posting under the recording for YouTube. I'll post the link that takes you directly to that page, but it should be there by tomorrow. So isogenicsbusiness.com tools, and then in this tool PDF section. But while we're in here, this is something really exciting, and I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, because I actually haven't seen it really posted out there yet, but tonight will be the night that we start getting word out. This is exciting, I'm sorry. I had to take a breath there. How many of you have ever tried to do a presentation with someone face-to-face or on the phone or in a group setting, maybe at your house, having a couple people together, and you're like, I don't know which video to show. I don't know which to do. All right. Again, we're trying to make it unified, right? A little simpler. Obviously, we have great videos, great things to go to if you know your group of people. But what if you've got someone in front of you and you really don't know their goals? You don't even know what they're interested in Isogenics for yet. And you want a really quick and easy summary to show them what Isogenics is in a snapshot. Would that be easy and simple? Yeah. Here it is. So we're back in isogenicsbusiness.com under Tools, under Tool PDFs. It isn't called an opportunity anymore. It's called Experience Isogenics. You know how we say opportunity meeting, opportunity flyer? It's too much lingo for network marketing. Experience Isogenics. Here it is, Experience of the Isogenics tool. Now this is something, I will tell you how amazing it is. If I had my iPhone or whatever phone right now, I could go here and do this. If I had my anything, tablet, whatever. Go here. If you're on your tablet or something, you're actually going to download the PDF, okay? Once you do that, it'll be there. You want to make sure you save it. You might even save it as an app on your phone or whatever and make it easy to get to from now on. Because what you're going to do is once you click here, and you actually, they have tear-off pads, so if some of you are not comfortable with technology, there's a tear-off pad for this that you can buy as well. But what's really cool about the technology piece is that anything you click on here will take you somewhere else. So if you've got someone sitting with you right now, you might do a quick overview of what is Isogenics. Well, here's all the countries we're in. Here are the market trends right now of what's going on in the world. Here are our solutions that we offer. Someone might go, oh, I really want, energy and performance. Great. We can click on here, and I'm not going to do it yet because I want to show you the rest of the form. We'll take you to the energy and performance and so on. Core products, we're showing our core 5, right? Again, If we want to, we can click on those things and it'll take you right to the information sheet. Science, you know, where we are in network marketing as an industry. So of course, it makes it very simple. We've got all these areas. Meet the owners. Well, who is this company, right? Here it is. You can click there and learn about the company. Get your products paid for. Now someone says, oh, I like what this is showing me. Now, yeah, I want to learn about how I can get my products paid for. It's right there. Tracks to run on. I mean, this is just unbelievable. When they announced this and launched it, I was so excited because I thought this is such a simple tool that we can use anywhere we go, right? So let's just say, for example, someone wants energy and performance. Click there.
And Sarah,
Yes.
like the big leaders, there was like a collective gasp in the room from people that have mega teams that were saying, this is awesome. So if you're getting that affirmation from them and saying, man, I'm so glad this is here now because it's so much simpler. Tara's saying this, but these people that are like the big deals are like, all of them together saying, wow, thank you. So
They're just really trying to keep it simple for us. I mean, obviously we know there's other places we can take people, you know, if they are really serious about show me more science. I haven't clicked on all these links yet, but you know, chances are things are all going to link within here anyway, and they'll always be updating and improving it. So this is obviously the first time they've done this, and I hope my internet's not going down now. But anyway, that's that tool. I won't take much time on that one right now, but other things. Okay, so the Platinum Handbook, I actually have a copy I'll share with you guys right now. What is Platinum? Platinum is, yeah, it's
Helping a lot of people.
helping a lot of people, changing multiple thousands of people's lives. Platinum is maxing out your center. So for those of you who are just getting started and you don't know what that means, that equates to $702,000 a year. Once you get there, you are able to re-enroll yourself above your team, and now you're building 2 teams, but you actually already have 1 team built. Now you're only building 1. Okay, this is the handbook for that, and it's just, I mean, it's so simple. It's just a simple document that just helps people understand where they're going, because they have already created 149 millionaires. Yeah. Is 150 announced?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh.
I just can't hold up on a number because I was ready to announce 150 and it's 149 today. So
149 got
today
announced
was
at the event.
there's someone before that, and today it was 149 again. For some reason, I was like ready for 150, but I don't
I
know.
thought it was 148. But yeah.
No, Melanie Lynch was announced at the event, right?
Yeah.
So she's 149.
And Jennifer.
But there was a site,
I-
someone posted 150.
150. It very well could be, because at the event they told us that there's going to be multiple people announced very soon. So that is cumulative earnings, just so everyone understands that. When you see a millionaire has been created, oftentimes their story will be published in ISA FYI, which is so great because it tells you who they were beforehand and who they are now. You know, retirees, people that are young in their 30s and their 20s, whatever their story is published. So that's really great because you can use that as a tool as well. But it's a cumulative earnings up to $1 million. You know, they've earned $1 million. Some of those stories, obviously, they've been in the company 13 years. How cool. They've made $1 million in 13 years, right? Some people, they've been in the company for less than a year. Is it possible? Yes. Is it normal? No. But it happens. So that's where, you know, when you see those stories, just know that there's a journey there of some kind. So I'll pass one to you guys and then one over here, and hopefully everyone. How many did not get the handouts, all 3 handouts? Just so I kind of know numbers. Okay, so we'll make sure we get the other ones for you guys. And again, this handbook is also, you don't have to go and buy a whole bunch of things, but this is also in the PDF section here too. And I'm assuming, I haven't heard, but I'm assuming that that guide about who we are will probably be a PDF format too. I'm not really certain on that. We didn't get told. All right, let's see. One of the things that we talked about, which was really cool, and this is where we got really transparent about where the company is with the 1 team philosophy and how people in the field are feeling at certain times. And the word drama came up. And I mean, we all know it happens. And we can all choose to either take part in it or choose to stop it at your door. There was a quote. Does anyone remember that quote about the drama that falls on wise ears or something? Drama stops when it falls on a wise person's ears. Something like that. So basically, that was one of the energy in the room kind of got a little uncomfortable at first because we were all being very open and honest. And this is something that I know when we were told to write a declaration or something along the lines of what we are willing to do for the company to continue to create the legacy that we deserve. And, for me, it was really not taking part in this. Showing up as the person I want to attract, showing up as who I believe everyone deserves to have, and really representing our company because we're all ambassadors. And, there's oftentimes in some of the groups that we see a lot of negativity about, when, for example, oh, they're making qualifications for the gala now, people can't all go. Really? Is that what people are really discouraged and creating drama around?
I'm just excited to go to San Diego.
I know, right? So it again is what you focus on expands, right? We all know that. So that's just something that I know everyone in our team is really good with that, drama doesn't need to have any place here. And, there's politics everywhere you go, but I think our company is actually really protected from it. I feel like we have the ability to get rid of it for good. So, yeah.
Can I just share something? I went to the leadership event in Australia where PETA spoke on unity. And one of the messages that came across, I've always felt that I've been very, inclusive of everyone and helped people cross line and always, of course, there's always room for improvement. Her message was that, I get choked when I think about it because it just fits so home with me, is that we are all associates of this company. And how one person leads their team and, leads their business affects every one of us. We are paid on everyone's actions. We're not just paid on our downline, upline, crossline, whatever. We are paid based on everyone's actions in the company. So by supporting every associate, everyone is going to move up. If someone else has a compliant issue, even if it's with a different team, it's our issue because we're all part of Isogenics. So when I heard PETA talking about that, I just thought, wow, that is so amazing, so amazing. So when we see something that, potentially is not compliant, instead of getting upset about it and talking to each other about it or whatever, well, our team doesn't do that. It's up to us to say, this is our company. We want to make sure that this isn't happening. So it's okay to speak up, go to compliance about it, send a message to corporate, whatever. But keep in mind that words, upline, downline, crossline, whatever, we're one team. We're Isogenics. And how one associate, leads their business, runs their team, supports their team, whatever, affects all of us. So how can we support each other? How can we do it better? If we don't like the way it is, how can you improve yourself? Mm-hmm. Because, there's that saying by Jim Rohn, I think it was Jim Rohn that said it, don't wish it was better, wish that you were different. So, okay, you may not be happy or comfortable with it or whatever, or you're super stoked about it, so share it, learn from it. How can we lead differently because of that? So that whole message about the whole one team is so powerful. So remember that you are paid based on the results of every associate in this company. We are one team. And with that in mind, when we help other people, of course, we're helping ourselves, but we're doing it because we want to help other people, mm-hmm. Right? So your why is important to me because it's your why and we're part of the same team. Mm-hmm. That's why we get to know each other and what's important to each and every one of us.
I think that we're just going in that direction all the time. It's getting better and better. I know that when I was very early in this business, someone contacted me on Facebook who I did not know, out of province, out of country, and she said, I love what you do. I want to join your team. And I'm like, I don't even know you, number one. Number two, that's not compliant to do. And I don't support that, but I will support you and your team. And she said, no, that won't work. I can't build the team here. It's just not going to work. And I said, well, that's your decision. But if you do change teams, you need to do it in compliance, right? You need to make it so that it's following and she had already made money. So technically she would have probably had to sit out 18 months with no account for 18 months. Well, I was on vacation, and I still remember this to the day when it happened. Cam and I went to a cottage for a week. I come home from the cottage to a phone call from a millionaire in Isogenics. I remember her name, Joni. She's a wonderful person. And she was in like event or in videos and things like that. So I knew when she said, "Hey, is this Tara Cooper? It's Joni." And she told me her name, and I was like, "Oh my goodness." And she goes, "Do you know who I am?" And I said, "I do actually." I said, "What gives me the honor to have you on the phone?" And she says, "Well, I just need to talk to you a little bit about," and she said it in such a beautiful way. It wasn't like I was being told what I did or bossed around or anything like that. She just said, "I'm telling you this in love." And I said, "Oh, okay." I just got home from vacation, literally walked in the door. She said, "I just want to let you know that somebody on my team called corporate to cancel her account, and they asked her why, and she said, 'I'm switching to Tara Cooper's team.'" And I was like, oh my gosh, I told her not to do that, right? But we can't tell people what to do. I just told her, "No, I'll support you where you are." Anyway, what happened was she said, "Do you really want to be known as a person in the team, in the whole company that takes people?" And I said, "To be honest, I did not do that. Number one, I do want," and she was totally open to what I had to say. And she said, "I'm just so glad I called you because we all get different stories," right? And I felt horrified. Like I was just like, I can't believe this happened. But I was so grateful that someone had the decency to get on the phone and help me through it. Rather than call compliance, "Tara Cooper's a stealer. She stole someone from our team." You know, that's not what we need to do either. We don't need to call compliance over people. But the fact that she called me and took the time, the first time I met her at an event, I hugged her on stage and I was just like, "You helped set the pace for me." And that is not something I ever want to be known for, ever, ever. I don't care how bad it is in someone's team. Sit out or stay where you are.
There's so many leaders in a team. So if you can't work with whoever personally enrolled you or whoever, and you're not happy with that, there's so many people you can reach out to, whether they're cross to work with, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So if they know that, if they realize that, maybe that person didn't realize that.
Well, she did, because we tried. We even got on a 3-way call after and said, "Let's work within your team." And I still don't think, but you know what?
She also loved you as a leader.
Yeah.
And wanted to be part of that.
But the message is not everyone's going to be happy. And chances are, if she moved to my team anyway, she would probably have blamed me for something too.
Yeah.
Because this happens. People blame their sponsor, their upline, their downline, their crossline, whatever. They're not working for me, whatever.
Message, change the screen back.
Oh,
You're done that.
all right. Actually, I'm not done that. So, sorry guys, I'm not going to change it because there's no other notes, but I do have a couple really quick shares for those of you who want to stay. Just some new tools and events, or tools and some really cool things. So, one of the things that I just want to share is the whole contribution piece. We are in such an amazing company. We actually had a lunch with Make-A-Wish the very last day. It was a tent that was just beautiful, beautiful sit-down lunch. Awesome, awesome. And there was a Make-A-Wish family there. And it wasn't a family that we had seen before, but she was an 8-year-old girl that had leukemia, and her dream was to have a playhouse. And just a beautiful story. And this little girl continued to hug her mom because her mom was very choked up. And the little girl just kept putting her arm on her mom's shoulder or hugging her. And it's just like, that little girl is the strongest little girl that I've ever seen, you know? And of course, many of us have children, and we can relate to those stories. And, you know, the first thing that we think about is, oh my goodness, imagine if that happened. You know, you can't even go there. So I just really want to share, because the day that we had our lunch, in 1 hour, 175 of us raised $88,000.
Wow. Wow.
12 years old, and my wish was to see a Black person in Australia.
At Celebration 2014, we gave a wish. We granted a wish right there on stage. Where we had a family, and Ben, his wish was to see a platypus. Your wish was to see a platypus. Today on this stage, we are granting you the wish to see the platypus in person with your entire family.
In Australia.
I came on stage and then my wish came true, and the rest of the day was war. When we arrived at the airport, lots of Isogenics families were there with their kids. They were doing the Aussie cheer, and that was amazing.
It gives you just a wonderful time to forget everything you were going through. It's just a week without hospital, without chemo, without thinking about these things. So it gives you just a great family time to enjoy each other and spending wonderful time with each other. So that was priceless.
Just to see Ben in the water with the platypus, it was amazing. My highlight was probably when I went to the Healesville Sanctuary and I got to go into the water with the platypus, and that was the most amazing experience ever.
Since the celebration last year, Ben has been back in school. So the year before, he had to be homeschooled and had to be away from his friends, and so he's now back in school.
I want to say thank you to the whole Isogenics team, to Make-A-Wish, and to everybody who donated anything to Make-A-Wish. I want to say thank you for this opportunity to celebrate and for everything that you've
It was so cool, you know, to be there for both of those. Anybody was at either one of those events to see him either get gifted that or, yeah. And at the hotel we were at, I went back at lunch, and him and his dad and his brother were playing pool in the hotel lobby. And I went over and I just said, "Oh my goodness, can I just say hello and thank you for sharing your story?" And Ben was like, "Thank you for being part of this." Like, he was just so amazing. And I said, "Do you mind if I get a picture?" And the father was like, "Absolutely, no problem." So, you know, we're changing lives, and to actually see that in real life, it's amazing. Yes.
I had a really quick share.
Thank you. Yes.
When we were in Disney, we saw the Make-A-Wish family, because their one wish was to have the opening ceremonies at Magic Kingdom.
So they rode in on the train, and they got off in their blue Make-A-Wish shirts, and it was kind of a neat moment for me, because
But you guys got to see
we
that.
donate on our auto ship every month, but that these guys recognized that immediately, and that they're part of making stuff like that happen. That was a big deal.
It really is. It's so amazing, and it's, yeah, what a gift, right? And they did talk to us about how even if each of us donates $1 on our auto ship every month, you don't even have to think about it. Just automatically comes off your, right? Or anything that you can give, or even a one-time donation. And I know they even acknowledge the fact that many of us have charities of choice. So this might not be your charity of choice, but even $1 of a month can make such a difference. So anyway, that was really cool. Yes.
I actually called in because I had one of my associates that wasn't going to be able to stay on Isogenics for a little bit because she couldn't financially. So she wanted to cancel her auto ship. And when I called in, the guy recommended, he said, instead of canceling her auto ship, could she afford to stay on for $1 a month? Because he said, if you add Make-A-Wish $1 a month to your auto ship, that can be the only thing that comes off your credit card. So there's no shipping and handling, there's no nothing. It's just $1 a month. And then when they can't afford to make another order, they haven't canceled completely. So it will actually keep your auto ship active, and it's just $1 a month off your credit card.
That's great.
So I've had 2 people actually do that and then go back to reordering because they are still, active. That's a really cool thing to do.
It's a good incentive to keep them active too. Like they know they're donating, they realize where we're headed with contribution, and they're more likely to come back.
Because sometimes ordering just one product that they can afford, then they're paying the shipping and handling on that one product. But this way, it's just $1.
Wow, that's really helpful.
So that was a really unique thing and they actually told me that when I called in. They actually recommended that, and I said, well, that is the coolest thing ever, really.
That's awesome.
For sure.
I'm going to share one more video, and then you guys, if you need to go now, feel free. This is just almost 4 minutes long, but it's the new Start Your Life video. It's awesome. So if some of you aren't using the Start Your Life things yet, hopefully this will be a new favorite.
all young people, no matter where they're from, race, colour, sex, height, whatever, we all deserve the same freedom that Isogenics can create, the Starting Life movement can create for us.
I believe that at the core of who we are as human beings, we seek a couple of different core feelings, including the feeling of freedom, purpose, and I feel like Isogenics delivers that.
We are a generation of not wanting to do things the way our parents did and wanting to push the boundaries.
We now know and understand how many lives we can actually impact with our time and the money that we're earning by Isogenics, we can give back.
This community is been able to take all this passion and strive, not to wait around for 4 years to do something incredible.
To have a group of young people that is moving forward on a mission together to better this world and to go against the status quo of the 40-40-40 plan.
There's a community of young people, ages 18 to 35, who are passionate about living, passionate about being fulfilled.
Before Isogenics, I was burned out. I was fried, unfulfilled, out of integrity with who I was, not liking who I was, not proud of what I was becoming.
I was overweight. I was tired all the time. I was in debt, living paycheck to paycheck every single week.
Before Isogenics, we woke up in a really tiny apartment. We always joked because we lived in love.
I was tired, and beyond that, I was just really lost, and I felt incomplete.
I was very unhappy, very unmotivated with life.
My life was in shambles. I was looking for mind, body, and spirit healing, and I didn't have it.
I was introduced to Isogenics by my sister. She says, I just met these ladies and they're like 50 years old and they look like they're 30 and we're doing what they're doing.
And Rebecca, that's how I did on Isogenics. She was amazing enough to share it with me. She said, I had amazing energy, and I said, I want whatever you're doing. Like, that's what I want. I've been on Isogenics products for 10 months and it has been absolutely amazing.
I feel like the Start Group is a place that allows people to create whatever it is that they feel like they deserve in their lives.
Start Group is just a subculture of this amazing company. It's authentic. These people have such high integrity. It's a mindset of what we can accomplish when we all come together. When we come together, we can change the world, and that's exactly what Isogenics has allowed us to do. And that's what we're doing.
What we're falling in love with was helping somebody change their life.
Not only that, I am able to create income and by sharing this with people. Like, you get paid to help people get better in their lives.
It's exciting to know that we're all the same age and we're all working together. We're all working for the same thing.
As Start people were permission bearers. We're able to say, yes, you can do this too. You can do and have everything that you want. Here's this massive community of people. They're going to hold you up and hold you accountable and see the greatness in you that your network might not see in you. And that's okay. But we're going to be a stand for you, even if you're not a stand for yourself.
This can help everyone. This can really help so many people. And I feel like I'm doing people a disservice by not sharing it with them.
You're going to be able to help so many people, and it's just the best feeling in the world.
It's awesome to be at home, to be a dad, to not miss out on, morning breakfast with my daughter, picking her out of bed, coming home at lunchtime every day and having lunch with her.
We invite you to take ownership of your life.
And through contribution,
Begin creating your freedom in your legacy.
Come, start your life.
And with that, I have to share that my daughter Hannah tonight said, Mom, who's your boss? And I said, I don't have one. And that was hard for her, but she said, but Mom, there's a principal at our school. That's the boss, not mine. And it's just cool because a lot of kids just don't get that concept, but it's an amazing, amazing gift. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming out tonight. And feel free to stay. We're not kicking you out. It's pretty hard to summarize 3 days, but I tried to pick some of the most important things that you guys could apply. So, thank you.